black darkness rules over the entire Krobo land. The sound of generators revs from a distance, distorting the night chirps by crickets. It's been 5 days since a military-backed task force of the ECG disconnected the entire Somanya township from the national grid over a pushback against the installation of prepaid electricity meters. The impact, wide and crippling to everything that keeps the town alive.
We hardly iron our dresses. You go to where they have generators, sometimes you pay something little before you can iron. Some of the things you even eat, our fridges are off. The foodstuffs we have in the fridges are all rotten.
If you see the number of students who have to trek from the school, go out, even the security, their safety, it's serious. What we are going through is not a child's play. Whoever is in charge must make sure that power is restored to the good people of this place.
It's a school night, but outside many houses, school-going children sit idle. Some of them even with exams at stake.
SHS3.
SHS3. You're supposed to be writing WASSCE.
Yeah, we started with our practicals today, so okay. Yeah, we are on it.
So you're writing WASSCE as you're sitting here? Yes, and without lights?
Yeah, we are coping. There's nothing we can do, so because there are no lights, we can't study hard as we are supposed to.
Home is very well. Without lights, there's nothing you are doing. You are just roaming in the night and then things. So if there were to be light by this time, we'll be learning.
They say they are forced to fall on lamps and other light sources for their personal studies.
By the light of, I used to read my book. And I go to school to learn.
We sometimes use torchlight, and sometimes when our phones are on, we use our phones.
But the situation means different things for different people. While many of the residents here are cursing their stars for being in the area at this material time, Innocent and his friends have seen a great business opportunity.
We're just taking advantage of the light out over here. That is not the business we do. But because the light is out over here, the only way they can also charge their phone is to use the generator, which we have the access to generator, so we're using it. And then we are taking 5 cities for 100 phone, 3 cities for yam. Because we have to buy fuel and then to generate the generator, that is the reason why we're doing that. We started this yesterday, and let me say, right now if I should calculate the number of phones that we charge, it's going to reach, let me say 100.
Innocent and his friends are, however, quick to note this business is not sustainable.
I have the other business that I do with lights, and this cannot help me. Of course, I have to buy fuel for everything that I do, which is going to cost me a lot. So the light is much advantageous than using the generator.
So like every other person in the town, he too wants the power restored. Manuel Cranting, Joy News, Somanya.
Thank you for staying here on the AM show. I'm Bernice Abu-Baidoo Lansah. So this situation has persisted for about 6 days. Let's get an update on this. Eric Tete is MCE for the Yilo Krobo area, and Simon Tete is MCE for Lower Manya Krobo. Welcome, gentlemen, to the show. Let me start with you, Eric. This problem is not recent. There is an issue residents of your area have with the ECG. And for those of our viewers who are not very conversant with that story, can you take us back to the beginning of this relationship that has turned sour?
Thank you very much. I believe that this problem started around 2014 when the ECG decided to change their billing system with a software, printing it from Somanya office, which led to overbilling and wrong bill. And so it led to a lot of agitations, and that brought the impasse between the Krobo people and ECG. So that is why it is important to make it clear that, but for that software, the introduction of that software, it was wrong for people to say that people of Krobo area are people who don't want to pay bills. We have been paying bills from day one. So it was that problem which aggravated the situation. So that is the foundation. But we've gone past that. There have been series of consultations, stakeholder meetings, and the result was that to stop this overbilling issue, there was a need to bring prepaid meter to the area. But there was supposed to be a roadmap where we need to engage the people to let them understand. You know, when you are bringing about a change, certainly you get some resistance. But once the people are involved, it makes it very easy. And so, on hindsight, I believe that the consultation was not too much effective because when I became MC, I've sat in about 3 stakeholder meetings where a lot of people were invited to these meetings. We have chiefs, we have assembly members, we have the clergy, we have youth groups. But I believe that those who attended the meeting on behalf of their groups failed to engage or explain the roadmap to them. Because if people are saying we were not consulted, then it tells me that maybe we made a mistake by thinking that after that meeting, those people will engage their people. So fast forward, we have to bring prepaid meter to solve this problem. But because of the problem that led to the demonstration, the burning of police vehicles, and the loss of life there, it has made the people have a bad relationship with ECG, where they have threatened most of them and other things. So ECG workers felt threatened, and that their workers told the union, told management that if they sat down and anything happened to any of their workers, they will hold them responsible.
Right.
That is why there was a need to give them protection, and the military came in. Today, I feel sad. I and my brother and some of the chiefs who accepted this prepaid agenda and let it talk to people, because people were not happy about it. People were afraid that their old bills will be put on the meter. But we were fortunate to have a relief in our area here where, through national security, they agreed that they shouldn't put the old bill on the meter.
Right.
But people still thought that it was just a ploy for them to get the meter, then later on they will put it on.
Hold on for me. I'll come back to you. Let me speak to Simon, okay, to get an understanding of what happened exactly on the day that the task force was compelled to cut off the power lines to take the Somanya area of the grid. Mr. Tete, Simon, because I have 2 Tetes, Eric Tete and Simon Tete. So Simon, just tell us exactly what happened on that day. What led to the Somanya area being taken off the grid?
All right, thank you very much. And good morning to you and your listeners, or viewers and viewers. Yes, per the report we gathered, according to the task force, they had some confrontation with some residents. That is the report from them, that there was nearly a confrontation, and they decided to leave the scene. And later on, they had that is, but officially, they've not given us the reason why the whole area has been taken off.
But did you find out, so this is one side of the story from the task force, did you find out from the residents there what their side of the story is?
I learned according to they came to work on the particular transformer, but the information from the residents, they felt they were coming to off their transformer. Because they in that area, it's being reported that they have registered prepaid. So they were feeling that was the reason why they were coming there.
Eric, back to you. You say that you regret, or you are beginning to regret, the decision you took for prepaid meters to be introduced into the communities. But would you say that personally you may have failed in following up on the dissemination of the plan to the residents? Because you say you met their leaders, but you're not so sure if the information trickled down to the residents. Would you say then that you may have failed, or you could have done better in ensuring that was done?
No, for me, the main work was to be done by ECG. The engagement with the people was supposed to be done by the ECG.
Okay.
So when I realized that people still have not understood the whole thing, in Yilong, for instance, ECG was invited to the paramount, where the paramount chief himself summoned all his divisional chiefs and the elders. And they spoke to us, and we all accepted and agreed that we would support ECG to do it. We also invited the clergy, all the church leaders to our office, and ECG spoke to them, and they also spoke to them. So in my area here, you realize that there was calm here, and people have never resisted this prepaid mixing here.
Right. So it's been 6 days and counting.
Yeah.
What has been done to solve the problem? Because there are kids who need to prepare for their exams. There are people who have stored food, businesses, cold stores, people who need power to run their gadgets and their companies. What is being done to resolve the issue?
Also, for me, the first thing is that we report, we have a chain about which we report. So we give the report to our regional minister. Yesterday, I was at the national stage because the EC people made it clear that the whole thing is about security. So national security. So I followed it up to the national security in Accra, and they told me steps that they were taking to ensure. And they felt worried. They felt worried because you see, this thing, the more it continues, the more even people get annoyed with the government. People might think the government is not doing anything. And when you say government, even we, the MC, we represent government here. So ours is to appeal to ECG, for ECG to look at, they shouldn't look at one side, as in people sabotaging their work. Because of that, they have to punish the whole community. When you go to the other side, where Simon is, the problem is just in about just 2 areas. So I think that is where we need to concentrate on our efforts in talking to the people to get other, because when you go to POM in his area, they have accepted it, they've done it there. Then they moved to my area and they were continuing until that incident happened.
All right.
And so ours is just to appeal to ECG, for ECG to look at the security aspect of this lies that they put off. And also the effect on the businesses, our health sector, and the education, and the cost that is bringing to people, so that we can solve this matter within 24 hours.
I'd just like to mention that we've been trying to reach the ECG to get a response from them, but so far we are yet to receive that. When we do, we'll let you know. Let me come to you, Simon. Eric just mentioned that your area is in Bong and people there have agreed for the prepaid meters to be installed. Is it the sense that the majority are being punished for the actions of a few people? Is that it? Is that what is happening?
To look at it, the response from the people. The entire POM area, they've accepted the prepaid, and the other communities who are ready for it. But like you said, there are 2 communities that the ECG they were having challenges there. We have agreed that we're going to do further engagement and ask people to remain calm.
So sorry.
Other 2 areas, whilst we continue to engage and see an amicable solution to those areas that are having challenges with whatever is being implemented.
Would you say the decision, Simon, would you say then that the decision by the ECG was harsh? Because from what you're telling me, just 2 communities are given problems and then the ECG decides to disconnect the whole area. We need to find out from the ECG first why they did that. But do you think that decision was harsh?
Yeah, that is what my colleague collaborated. At least we were thinking that at least there could have been a way out to sort out those 2 communities while we continue to work with the other peaceful communities. Because now we all know that is the policy of the ECG. and they can't go back on it. So when there are some few challenges in some 2 or 3 communities, we need to do further engagement and move on, but not to put the whole 2 municipalities off. And then now people are seeing us that they're tagging us that we have caused this harm and other things, which is not helpful in stopping us in the local area.
Wow. So Eric told us that he's been to the national security. He's reported to the regional minister.
Yes,
what have you?
I also engaged the national security officers, and they also told me the same thing, that they are doing some. We have to intervene, like you said. I've also filed a report to the regional minister. He's also taking it up. Why we also engage national security? Myself, we have engaged them to look at the situation, to review it again, because of the security threat that this thing is posting to us. So the paramount chief is also trying to meet some stakeholders on the way forward today. As we've also formed some teams to also do further engagement in those communities. Yesterday, the teams went around to engage those communities and their leadership. So we are making progress. So we are only appealing to ECG to reconsider their decision and look at the other areas where it is having a negative impact on the majority.
In your response, both Simon and Eric, in your responses to what is being done, you mentioned the national security and your regional minister, but I didn't hear any of you mention ECG officials. Is it a case that they are not willing to engage with you as MCs, or there's been no attempt at all to try to talk them out of this decision?
Well, for instance, I called the district manager in Somanya to get the reasons why the lights were off. You understand? But come to think of it, you yourself, you are saying they are not speaking to people. I'm thinking that by this time, these issues have come out. These are the reasons why we put the lights off. When the reasons are correct, people will be on their side. But now you are not speaking, and you are how do we know exactly what the problem is? And so for me, I even sent a message to the MD of ECG. That is why I went to National Security yesterday. Because when I sent the message to him, he told me that the matter is with National Security to resolve. And so that's why I went there. So ECG is aware. We've contacted them.
And Simon, so are you telling me that even for you as MCEs, the ECG has not given you a clear reason why they took this decision?
Yes, when you ask, they tell the matter has been referred to National Security, so we should contact them. So that is what, like my colleague said.
Interesting. So how are your residents coping? We just played a story from my colleague Manuel Cranting. So some have decided to resort to the use. Like
you say, for instance, I have we have Boga Senior High School here, Manya Krobo Senior High School. We have Acrosec Tech, we have nursing training, we have St. Martin de Forest Hospital, we have Atwa Government Hospital, we have cheap compounds, centers. We have other people who are running businesses, school stores, and other pure water. Then it's like even all the police stations are all the major installations, and the security, managing security now is becoming a bit of a challenge, because in the night you wouldn't know what somebody would do. But we are all appealing to the residents to remain calm, but we are also appealing to come in a way that will be helpful to all of us.
All right, so I'm concerned especially about the hospitals and the schools. Are they running on generators, or they don't have any resource like that available to them?
Partial, because I've engaged the headmasters and the headmistress, and some they partially use the generator because they have school staff that is restored, and in the night too they need light so that the students can have their normal preps.
And so how are they catering for the cost element? Who is paying for the fuel?
And so we'll have a meeting between today and tomorrow to look at how we can assist them or support them to defray some of the costs.
But on my side, Madam.
Yes, Eric, let's hear you.
Yes, on my side, when you take my municipal hospital here, the plant that they have, they use an average of 1,770 Ghana cedis a day. And they cannot sustain that. And if they can't sustain, it means that assembly, and you know the problems we face that we have sanitation issues to deal with. You understand? And so for me, I'm thinking that, come to think of this, if people had old meters, you came and changed it and you give them prepaid. Prepaid meant that you are going to pay finance. So all those people who have changed to prepaid meter now have bought credit on their meter, which means that their monies are with usage, and you have off them. Is it fair? It is not fair. You understand? Our people are really suffering. Assembly, we are also suffering. And so we just want to appeal to them that shutting off this light for 2 municipalities is effectively like shutting down the municipal assembly. You are just making us unable to perform our normal function. Right now we are, because what can you do? As businesses are supposed to pay monies to the assembly. If they are not making it, can they pay? They cannot pay. So I'm thinking that for 1 week in darkness, it is enough. We want to appeal to ECG. As an emergency, come and whatever problem is there, let's solve it within today so that our people get the light.
Right. So you've all given us a background to this particular incident and what led to the clash. You've also told us what the National Security Ministry has been saying in dealing with this situation. While you wait for the ECG and the National Security Ministry to come up with a plan on what to do next, what are you also doing as MCEs to ensure that when the officials come around, there will not be a further clash or a recurrence of what we've seen in the past? Let me start with you, Eric.
Also, for instance, this afternoon around 4 o'clock, the paramount chief of Manya Krobo, who also is the president of the Eastern Regional House of Chiefs, has summoned us to a meeting at his palace. So we'll be going there, all in an attempt to talk to our people. Already, people, such as those who created this problem, might have realized that their actions have caused all of us. And so all that we're going to do is to engage them, talk to them, so that at least the ECG people also will feel secure, and that we won't get back to where we are now. And so for me, on our part, we have always supported ECG. And what is our motivation? Our motivation is that all agencies are supposed to be supported to work peacefully so that the municipality can develop. One of our core mandates is to promote local economic development. And without power, in fact, everything will come to a standstill. And my fear is that we are in competition with other municipalities. So when it becomes clear that, as for this area, when you go and set up a business there, you are likely to get lights off. It is going to affect us in future. So it is important that we as quickly as possible, we solve this problem.
Right. Let me hear your final words, Simon, in response to my question on what you're also doing, engaging the young people and those who are resisting this latest move by the ECG. Hello, Simon? Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Like my colleague rightly said, we are having some engagement this afternoon with the chiefs and the paramount chief and other stakeholders. And we've also formed a team to go around and engage the various the leadership of the youth groups and other stakeholders, so that we'll find a lasting solution to the problem areas. And like you said, we have oversight responsibility over these state agencies, and we'll always assist them to create an enabling environment for them to work and do their work as expected of them. But when you get to certain points, you realize that sometimes the thing gets to a stalemate area, and you need to go extra mile to make sure that problem is solved. So like my colleague said, we are in support of whatever they are doing, and we'll continue to support them to work peacefully, not in an environment that is not stable.
Right, I'll have to thank you, gentlemen, for your time this morning. You just heard Simon Tete. He's MCE for Lower Manya Krobo. Earlier, you heard Eric Tete, who is MCE for the Yilo Krobo area. Well, they've been sharing with us details on why their communities have not had electricity for about a week, giving us the background to that relationship between the ECG and residents, which dates as far back as 2014. You may recall that in 2021, the office of the ECG had to be relocated from the area because of some unfortunate incidents between residents there and officials of the ECG, which led to deaths. Well, you're yet to receive a response from the ECG on what exactly led to this recent one. But as we are told, they went to install prepaid meters and there was resistance, and so they decided to take the two municipalities off the national grid. We'll keep our eyes on this, especially because it affects a lot of people, hospitals, organizations, school children who are preparing for the final exams. So we'll update you as and when we are furnished with more information. Well, this weekend we would have the second clinic for the EcoBank Journeys Habitat Fair. The fair is in partnership with EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank, and powered by the planned City Extension Project from Cities and Habitats Rent to Own, and it's sponsored by Elegant Homes and General Construction Limited, where quality meets value, Virtual Security Africa, Complete Security Solutions, Superlock Technologies Limited. You deserve the best. DBS Industries Limited, we truly are your roof experts. Duraplast Limited, where Duraplast goes, water flows. Gold Key Properties, building prestige since 1997. The EcoBank Journeys Habitat Fair, where you live matters. When we come back, we'll be speaking to some of our sponsors, and our main sponsor, EcoBank, will join us first.